Aerofied and the ProvenanceChain network have teamed up to bring the most comprehensive and automated solution to space asset material provenance, also known as material traceability, or as I call it, space trace. Resilient space assets require resilient supply chains, and a resilient supply chain demands transparency. The ProvenanceChain network harnesses the power of permissioned blockchain technology to bring resiliency and transparency to the supply chain. The bottom line up front is comprehensive material traceability requirements are crucial for mission success, and the warfighter relies on assets built with validated origin stories. This is the material provenance we strive for today. Current methods for validating space trace requirements are tedious and error-prone. They require the collection of inputs from thousands of sources to force-fit a complex, centralized data repository, creating excessive costs and leaving mission assets at risk. These traditional methods for provenance validation are already cracking under the weight of today's supply chain. Risk of counterfeit materials resulting in mission delay or even failure is increasing exponentially due to recent industry trends. Material provenance must evolve to meet the needs of an accelerating space industry. The ProvenanceChain network is a permissioned blockchain technology solution that optimizes traceability, documenting and cataloging material origin stories as they're written, creating an immutable record of supply chain activity, and enabling businesses to incentivize best practices among their suppliers. Once deployed, our platform integrates seamlessly with existing data capture systems. This gives businesses the power of a blockchain-enabled network to securely chronicle and share material provenance data across the supply chain. My name is David Rampton, and today I'm the Vice President at Aerofied, where we consult manufacturers and technology providers in the aerospace and defense industry. 12 years ago, as a manufacturing engineer, I started a career in supply chain management at Raytheon Space and Airborne Systems. One of the first projects I had was to respond to a guide-up alert impacting the defense satellite instrument we were building. I was asked to comb through an entire bill of materials with thousands of line items, review the material data packages tied to those line items, and confirm if we had any material from Western titanium. From there, I had to identify the lot date codes on any Western titanium material certs. This was a long and tedious process, poring over SAP purchase orders and PDF data packages, hoping that their scan quality was good enough for me to read. This was a process I had to endure more than once. Years later, I was proud to watch our system launch successfully from Vandenberg Air Force Base, and was confident in the role I had played. I know we can improve our material traceability process, and I also know why it's so critical for our space assets. I'm joined by Jeff Gauss, founder of the ProvenanceChain network. Jeff is an innovator and veteran entrepreneur with extensive corporate boardroom experience. With the ProvenanceChain network, his primary mission is to leverage cutting-edge technologies to create supply chain transparency. The ProvenanceChain network has partnered with Aerofied to bring its cutting-edge supply chain material tracking solution to the defense world. Together, this team represents an acute understanding of the demand, the problem, and the ideal solution. A Department of Defense report delivered to the President in 2018 made some staggering observations about the resiliency of our defense supply chain. Among these is the consequence of offshoring critical manufacturing technology. A quote from the report reads, "Today, Asia produces 90% of worldwide printed circuit boards, and half that production occurs in China. As a result, only one of the top 20 worldwide printed circuit board manufacturers is US-based." The report also comments on US-based companies leveraging their own overseas facilities. Quote, "DoD risks losing visibility into the manufacturing provenance of its products as many domestic manufacturers have offshore manufacturing facilities or relationships, and many of the offshore facilities do not meet or comply with DoD quality standards." More specifically, the report states, "Imports of electronics lack the level of scrutiny placed on U.S. manufacturers, driving lower yields and raising the risk of Trojan chips and viruses infiltrating U.S. defense systems. Expert leaders in our country have recognized that these trends will result in our defense industry base losing supply chain oversight, which will leave us dangerously exposed to the $1 billion counterfeit materials market." Material provenance for the defense supply chain faces a triple threat. 1. the supply chain which supports today's space industry has already outgrown traditional material trace practices. 2. The warfighter will not be able to benefit from the most advanced technologies emerging from the commercial sector if we do not offer innovative companies a provenance tool that both meets DoD standards and allows them to maintain a rapid pace of development. 3. As a defensive measure, traditional practices for material traceability are outmatched by the strength, size, and persistence of the adversarial and criminal counterfeit market. Our permissioned blockchain technology solution optimizes material traceability. Our network is permission controlled and built on distributed ledger technology, meaning participants must be approved and known in advance. This is a core distinction from the open and anonymous nature of traditional blockchain networks, often associated with cryptocurrencies. The ProvenanceChain network enables participants to digitally chronicle the origin stories of every component on a bill of material by seamlessly integrating with all forms of hardware and data collection. This includes product labeling, smart tags, factory sensors, IoT technology, and through integrations with web tools, ERP, and other software systems. The more the network is used, the more supply chain transparency is achieved. Transparency greatly reduces the likelihood of counterfeit goods, makes it easy to identify where errors or mistakes happened and who was responsible. It also enables secure data sharing between different parties, bringing actionable information to all points of manufacture, test, assembly, integration, and mission operation, ensuring that they all access the same immutable history of data. This provides new efficiencies, insights, and the ability to further optimize supply chains over time. All this while ensuring the highest levels of data privacy and security. The ProvenanceChain network has categorized the elements of a comprehensive material origin story. We call these the 7 layers of provenance, and authorized users of the ProvenanceChain network will have access to easily view these layers of data as controlled by their permission settings. Places represents all the relevant location data gathered and can easily simplify the process of determining if import-export compliance is at risk. Path connects the dots between places. Users will view a physical timeline of each component's journey from foundry to finished goods. The people layer verifies things like fair labor practice, human trafficking, job creation, and equal opportunity. Within the layer of privacy, we can see how businesses protect their data. Users will be able to verify that proper cybersecurity controls such as NIST 800-171 and CMMC were in place for any stewards of controlled unclassified information. The layer we call product collects vital data on things like conflict mineral use, material test certifications, relevant guide-up alerts, as well as unique identifiers like serial numbers and lot date codes. We also log data critical to our planet: carbon footprints, utilization of green manufacturing practices, notable equipment or process utilized, and compliance to any relevant laws and standards. Brand information tells us things that we need to know about a company's industry certifications, like AS9100 or NADCAP, ITAR registration with the DDTC, small business classification, or any foreign interest. Now we recognize that chronicling the 7 layers of provenance data means nothing if we cannot process and display it in a simple, easy-to-use interface. That is why the ProvenanceChain works with customers to create the most effective data visualization platforms, whether it be a custom report as part of your internal web portal or through our own dedicated mobile application. To continue protecting our warfighters with resilient space assets, we cannot rely on traditional space trace methods. We must evolve with the advancing space industry. The ProvenanceChain network harnesses the power of permissioned blockchain to digitally chronicle and catalog part origin, custody, and consumption data so that manufacturers may transparently share them with customers, distribution partners, and other regulatory compliance groups. Comprehensive material provenance for an entire payload on your phone. This is the material provenance our airmen deserve. Resilient space assets are born from resilient space asset supply chains, and a resilient supply chain demands fast and accurate material provenance. Thank you.